everybody talks about personal development, but another way of saying that is, well, level up, right? If you want to level up, you have to think of life like a video game, right? Now, I have a friend of mine, and I'm going to relate it to when I was in the military because I had a couple students that were just like this. And when I say students, I'm referring to people that wanted to learn martial arts, self-defense, or magic, so on and so forth. And one of the things that they didn't understand was why I was being so hard on them. And then they quickly understood that I was only being hard on them because I care. It's when I don't care that I get quiet, so on and so forth. And I remember one of the questions I asked them was, well, do you guys want to get better? Do you want to level up, so on and so forth? I mean, granted, not every type of training works for everybody, but this seemed to work very well for myself and others that have been successful, so I think it will work for you. For instance, when I was in a magic group, there was a gentleman that was the leader of the group that was very hard on the performers in the group when it came to beating on their craft of their routine. We would take it apart. We would be extremely critical. We would raise our voice, so on and so forth, to emphasize certain things, not just behaviors or emotions, but to get a point across and different types of communication styles. Because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with the environment around you, you're going to deal with different variables. Same thing with martial arts. A couple of my martial arts instructors were very, how do I say this, firm, right? If I didn't do something correctly, they were very critical about it. When we sparred, sometimes it almost felt like full contact, because in the real world, when you get attacked, people are not going to be hitting you lightly, so you might want to get used to being hit, so on and so forth. Same thing with the magic thing. When people start talking during your performance or trying to dissect what it is that you're doing, how do you not only navigate around that, but how do you become better to level up in the game? It's like a comedian on stage that knows how to deal with hecklers at the time because he's done it for so long, and he doesn't let him, how do I say this? He doesn't let, or she doesn't let the heckler get on their nerves, right? So when I was working with a couple people that got to certain levels that were getting ready to teach others, I would begin to act like a heckler. I would turn into some of my instructors, right? And the reason why was because as they travel, as they move, as they go around, they're going to experience different things. This particular student that I'm referring to right now kind of reminds me of me when I was younger in a Catholic school. I remember that there was this Biggie Smalls song, and we had a talent show, so on and so forth. It was me, Michelangelo, Antoine, Kenneth Daniels, Michael Melodosian, and a couple others, so on and so forth. We were going to do this talent show, and I wanted to be in the rap song, so on and so forth, More Money, More Problems by Biggie Smalls, so on and so forth. And I learned the lyrics, I knew everything, the emphasis, how to go out there. And one of the guys came up to me and said that I couldn't be in it. If I remember correctly, it was either Antoine or Kenny. They never told me why, but Michelangelo, who was a little bit closer to me, pretty much just told me the reason why they don't want you to be in the talent show doing the Biggie Smalls part is because, one, you're not black and you don't look like Biggie Smalls. Made complete sense to me. Did it feel like a failure? Kinda, sorta, but I got the gist of it. So I went to a teacher or an instructor, and they said, well, what can you do that can help the talent show or help them win? So I learned how to put them in, how do I say this? Orchestrated performance, right? This person's going to come out at this time. While this person's doing this, you guys are going to do this when you're getting ready to leave. And I learned how to become somewhat of like a director or coach, so on and so forth. And the same thing applied to magic when we were putting together routines. So reminding myself of that when I look at this student, knowing a lot about his background, how he grew up in certain communities and environments, but he was told, well, you don't look like us. You don't dress like us. You damn sure don't sound like us. So what can you do to level up so that, yeah, we still accept you, but to help all of us win? So that's what I wanted to get to with this video, with that one section. Now, second thing I used to ask is, do you guys have a goal, right? What is your goal? Some people want to just learn how to defend themselves to a certain part, or learn magic to a certain standard so that they could stand out at parties. Other people want to become instructors or compete in martial arts. Other people want to perform as a part-time job or full-time job as a magician. Okay, well, there's going to be different types of training that go into both things, because one is looking at it from a professional standpoint where you're competing, performing, so on and so forth, etc. And that's a little bit more grueling and more tough than just trying to get by with your friends at a local cocktail event. Then, of course, there's the, oh, well, I just want to be able to handle myself in a bar situation. Until you come across somebody that might be more trained, then that gets difficult, but you'll be able to handle yourself and survive. So you can kind of undersee the justifications for the training methods. If you're going to be in front of a lot of people or mass groups of people and leading mass groups of people and then training other mass groups of people, you're going to get probably the hardest training out there because of the amount of, how do I say this from a financial standpoint, capital or human capital, or the lives that you will be impacting. See, going to a regular bar, holding your own or doing a couple tricks is one thing, small group of people. Competing in the arena or on stage, that's one thing, right? Another large group of people. Traveling the world and having them follow you and make an impact and then handing down those skills to others is even larger, because not only do you have the proof of competition or performance, but now you have to teach that. So you have to take your wisdom, pass that down as knowledge, and as time progresses, you gain insight. So where's your goal? Where do you want to go? And then we could reverse engineer this, because, well, it's a lot quicker to solve problems that way. See, you put the goal in the front of your mind, and then you say, what would this look like if it were easy? Or if nothing else mattered and I could do whatever I wanted, how could I accomplish this? And then we start backtracking and making lists to get to the goal. Finally, the last thing I want to ask people is, do you have a plan? It's great to reverse engineer, but a plan has contingencies, right? So what happens if someone talks during your performance? What happens if somebody sucker punches you? What happens if somebody catches you off guard? What happens if you come across somebody more knowledgeable, so on and so forth? Are you ready for that time? Are you ready for your equipment to fail? Are you ready to maybe break a pinky or a part of your hand because there's more than 30 bones in your hand, and if you're striking, so on and so forth, if you're not using proper technique and you you punch somebody, there's a lot of little bones in your hand that the moment that you break one of them, your whole hand comes out of commission. So do you know how to use your elbow? Do you know how to use your palm, the inside and outside strikes, so on and so forth? Do you know how to use a shoulder bump correctly in order to win the confrontation? Do you know what a couscous is in magic if you're performing mentalism or something else, so that you have multiple outs to your effect? Do you have that set up? What happens if your couscous fails twice? What are you going to do? Did you pre-show? Was there pre-work? So on and so forth. And we put all those contingencies within the plan. In business, it's known as a standard operating procedure. And with a standard operating procedure, it pretty much tells you what to do, how to do it, and how to recover in case the things that you tried to prevent from happening happen. There's a plan to recover. And, granted, you can take that from Tim Ferriss. You can go to Columbia University, Harvard, Stanford, so on and so forth. These are some of the tools and questions you're going to want to ask yourself when not only you're leveling up in life, but you're finding freedom. What's your goal? What's your plan? And do you want to level up would be the main one. So I hope this video helped you guys. I hope if it did, you would smash that like button. Don't forget to follow me and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Finding Freedom, where we discuss how to speak with conviction. In other words, how to speak when all those bad things occur, not only with conviction and confidence, but because you know, meaning you're now applying your wisdom and insight to the altercation for the best possible outcome. Because at the end of the day, within economics, the best situation is a win-win situation, otherwise known as a optimal decision, otherwise known as finding balance within the room, atmosphere, or environment. So till next time, my friends, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Finding Freedom. Mwah. Peace.